This 2005 case, was there a denial of the right to due process? That will be the topic of our video for today. Hello, I am Attorney John Edmond Ruz, and you are listening to this series of Rights of the Accused. Together, we spend a few minutes of the present to gather lessons from the past as an investment for our future. So, was there a denial of the right to due process in this 2005 case? The facts of the case, you can listen to our previous videos. This is regarding this case before the Graft Court. No? There were 4 accused, and when the prosecution made a move and made a manifestation that the 13 cases filed again, 13 cases, criminal cases, filed against the accused were recommended for dismissal. The Graft Court issued an order dismissing all the 13 cases for all the 4 accused. But actually, what was in the prosecution's mind, or what should have been the recommendation, what should have been the manifestation and motion of the prosecutor, was the dismissal of the 13 cases only for accused number 1. As far as accused number 2, 3, and 4, all the 13 cases should be prosecuted and not dismissed. However, since in its motion and manifestation, it mentioned only that the 13 cases filed against the accused were recommended for dismissal, the Graft Court interpreted this as the dismissal of the 13 cases as far as all 4 accused were concerned. So the order was issued, and it caused a confusion it caused the problem to this case, no? Because it was the court issued an order based on the inaccurate manifestation and motion. However, it could have been avoided had the court perused the records of the case, because prior to this manifestation and motion, the court gave an order that resulted to the prosecution making a joint reply filed with the court, no, part of the court records. And in this joint reply, a copy of the retired justice's recommendation acting as a special assistant for the Office of the Ombudsman was attached. And in this recommendation, it was clear that the recommendation to drop all 13 cases was with respect only to accused number 1. It excludes accused number 2, 3, and 4. So as far as accused number 2, 3, and 4 were concerned, all 13 cases should be prosecuted. So there was a problem there. The court misinterpreted the unclear or vague manifestation and motion of the special prosecutor. It is not me deciding, no, I am not saying that the prosecution or the court made a mistake. This is the Supreme Court's findings, or these opinions are what I can read between the lines of the Supreme Court decision. So was there a denial of the right to due process? So yes, there was a denial of the right to due process. Why? According to the Supreme Court, I will read a portion of its decision. By its order, the Graft Court, or the Sandigan Bayan, no, deprived the respondent people of the Philippines, or the state, the government, the Republic of the Philippines, of its right to due process. In fine, the Sandigan Bayan, or the Graft Court, acted in excess of its jurisdiction and committed grave abuse of its discretion in dismissing the 13 criminal cases against the petitioners, or the accused. Hence, its order dismissing the 13 criminal cases against the accused, now petitioners, because it is before the Supreme Court, was null and void. So, according to the Supreme Court, the Sandigan Bayan, or the Graft Court, overstepped its authority, no? Overstepped its authority, and now is acting as if it has no authority to determine the case, no? Because every time, as I mentioned in the prior videos, every time you hear this, the court acted in excess of its jurisdiction, it merely means, in layman's language, that the court overstepped its authority, or the court acted in excess of its jurisdiction. This simply means that the court acted beyond its authority, and it committed grave abuse of discretion, meaning there was abuse, but not ordinary abuse. Extraordinary abuse, perhaps, grave abuse of discretion. So when it exercised its discretion in dismissing the 13 criminal cases, it was not an ordinary mistake. It was a grave abuse of discretion. It is as if it has overstepped its authority, and even if it has the authority to determine the case, it is as if it is acting without authority to determine the case. Thus, since it overstepped its authority, and as if it is acting without authority, even if it had the authority, the order dismissing the 13 criminal cases against the 4 accused, all accused, was null and void, meaning it was an empty order. And in fact, in some portion of this decision, the Supreme Court said that you do not have to do anything to correct this order because it is an empty order. It is as if, in the contemplation of law, as far as law is concerned, it is non-existent. You may simply ignore it. But I've cautioned you before in the prior video that it would be better to do something about it within the prescribed period rather than ignore it. We are not arguing with the Supreme Court, but it would be best to take the safe route. So there was a denial of the right to due process because, remember, the prosecutor, the state, was not even given the right to be heard, because instead of putting the other accused number 2, 3, and 4, to trial, where the state can present their allegations, present their evidence, argue and submit their position as to what law or how the law should be applied based on the facts that they are trying to establish. The case did not arrive at this part. There was no trial. The state was deprived of its right to be heard because the 13 cases against accused number 2, 3, and 4 were dismissed by the Graft Court. Of course, as we have mentioned in the previous video, this dismissal by the Graft Court on the 13 cases, of course, this dismissal of the Graft Court of the 13 cases, as far as accused number 2, 3, and 4 were concerned, was a mistake because it merely followed the inaccurate manifestation and motion of the special prosecutor. Had it perused other records, like the written recommendation or its copy of the written recommendation of the retired justice, it would have easily determined that the recommendation or the manifestation and motion of the special prosecutor to have the 13 criminal cases dismissed, 13 cases against the accused dismissed, was referring only to accused number 1, and it excluded accused number 2, 3, and 4. So since the state, the prosecution, the people of the Philippines were not able to submit evidence, were not able to have their opportunity in court to be heard, to prove their case against the accused, there was a denial of the state's, dili sa accused, of the state's right to due process. So as far as the state is concerned, the people of the Philippines, they were deprived of the right to due process. It was not a denial of the accused's right to due process, but of the state's or the prosecution's right to due process. So this is the end of our video for today. If you like our video, please click the like button, share this video to your friends, follow our page, and click the subscribe button. Thank you.